The second to last thing we'll do in improp is some reasoning about minima. This section's built in sort of two parts. On the one hand are a bunch of important facts about less than or equal to that are just really important things to know about if you're going to be proving anything having to do with less than or equal to, which is going to come up in the case that we'll need minima for, Levenstein. Ultimately, we're looking for some theorems about argmin 3 that'll be helpful for proving Levenstein correct and optimal. But these LE exercises are also going to be useful any other time we reason about less than or equal to, in particular when we talk about sorting tomorrow on day 17. Not tomorrow, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so these are all optional, right? It's just too much for me to ask you to do all of these. They're still good practice. And whether or not they're good practice, some of these are much easier than others, whether or not they're good practice, they're really important for you to know about for you to do these proofs, right? Like transitivity of less than or equal to, this sort of like shifting of directions, right? Lets you reason backward and forwards by adding successors and removing them. This specification for how LEB behaves, right? For any pair of numbers, either LEBNM is true or it's false and LEBMN is true, that like less than or equal to partitions the number line. This fact in particular is very useful for reasoning about any program that wants to talk about less than or equal to. You're definitely going to need that fact. But all of these are really important, right? Ultimately, we're even going to reflect LEB into less than or equal to. Right? All of this is like a big deal. So whether or not you're going to actually do these, please make yourself familiar with them. Okay, so here is lemma min 3 min. This is the what I call the linchpin. This is sort of like a really key lemma saying that min 3 gets you a minimal thing, and I suggest using LEB spec to get that going. And then the following ones here all more or less follow from min 3 min. Right? You shouldn't have to do that much crazy case analysis. But all of these are sort of going to be important things for reasoning about argmin 3 when we talk about Levenstein. Okay, so to sum up, I expect y'all to have some questions on these. I think it's a little tricky to figure some of this out. So first, as usual, be patient with yourself. Second, okay, I was really serious. This is a really useful property, so you're going to want to think about that. And then third, if you come to me with a question, I'm gonna probably ask you, well, have you looked at such and such lemma above about LE that's relevant? And if the answer is no, I'm gonna say, well, why don't you go look at those lemmas again a little more closely and see if those can help you out. And if you have looked at them, okay, then we'll talk about how the appropriate lemma might help you move on a little bit. That said, the best way to understand any of these lemmas is to prove it. So if you feel like you have the time, I think these are great exercises for sort of building up your reasoning muscles for thinking about inequalities here. Okay, that's it. One more section, and then we're done. Cheers, y'all.